Before we actually phrase a situation, let me break this down for you a little bit. Here is a document that is actually showing bills that have been introduced to the 11th Parliament for enactment. This is just away from topical analysis, but let's first take a look at this. Now, we're looking at these bills that have been introduced to the 11th Parliament as of now. These are the 11th Parliament that we're actually having for enactment. The first bill is the National Social Security Fund Amendment Bill 2021. The bill, which is actually seeking to expand Social Security coverage by making contributions to the National Social Security Fund mandatory for all workers in the formal sector, and also allowing workers in the formal or informal sectors to make voluntary contributions to the National Social Security Fund. That is NSSF. It was a bill that was actually first proposed to Parliament in the 10th Parliament, but then it had to be returned to the 11th Parliament for a further review before it actually becomes law. Before it actually becomes the law. Its first reading was on the 29th of September 2021, and the committee which is actually overseeing this particular bill is the Gender, Labour and Social Development Committee that was put in place to oversee and greatly take a look at this bill before it is actually presented before Parliament. Then Bill number 2, if you have to look at the bills that have been introduced to the 11th Parliament for enactment so far, the Fisheries and Aquaculture Bill. This bill seeks to consolidate and reform the law relating to the management of fisheries products and aquaculture. The current Fisheries Act cap cap 197 is insufficient in addressing the matter and the challenges and the emerging issues. That is why this bill had to be introduced to Parliament. Its first reading was also on the 29th of September 2021, and the committee which was actually given the role of going through this bill is the Agriculture, Animal Industries and Fisheries Committee. If you'll excuse me, allow me to take you through some of these bills that will be of importance to you, because we shall be drawing back to them once they have actually become new laws in Uganda. Bill number 3 is the Landlord and Tenant Bill 2021. Yes, now this one here is seeks to regulate the relationship of the landlord and the tenant, and Part B is actually seeks to reform and consolidate the law relating to the letting of premises. And tip number 3 on what it actually seeks to regulate, it also seeks to provide the responsibilities of landlords and tenants in relation to the renting of premises. So this is the Landlord and Tenant Bill. Its first reading also came on the 29th of September 2021, and the committee in charge of this one is the Physical Infrastructure Committee. These are some of the bills of the 11th Parliament that they're actually working on. So if you see a house in session, then you know these are some of the bills that are being discussed. Bill number 4 is the Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2021. The purpose of this bill is to make supplementary appropriation out of the Consolidated Fund under Article 1563 of the Constitution and the Section 25 of the Public Finance Management Act of 2015 to meet the additional expenditure for the financial year of 2018-2019. And its first reading also came on the 29th of September, and the Budget Committee or Standing Committee is actually the one that is in charge of reviewing this particular bill. Let's also check out the other bill on ground, Bill number 5, which also had its first reading on 29th September, is the Supplementary Bill. So we're actually winding up with this. Oh, there are quite many. They're not too many though. Bill number 5, if I can actually give you just a simple sum up of these bills. So far, they are 10 bills. So this is the Bill number 5 is the Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2021. This one was also read on the first read on the 29th September. First presented before the floor of Parliament on the 29th September 2021 by the Budget Committee, or which is the Standing Committee. The purpose of this bill is to make supplementary appropriation out of the Consolidated Fund under Article 1563 of the Constitution and Section 25 of the Public Finance Management Act 2015 to meet the additional expenditure of the financial year 2019 to 2020. Bill number 6 is the Physical Planners Registration Bill 2021, which seeks to provide for the establishment of a Physical Planners Registration Board, provide for the powers and functions of the board, as well as providing for the registration of physical planners, and provide for disciplinary procedures for errant physical planners. This one was presented on 5th October 2021 with the Physical Infrastructure Committee presenting this bill before the floor of Parliament. Then bill number 7 is the Succession Amendment Bill, which actually seeks to amend the Succession Act Cap 162 to bring it in conformity with the Constitution and provide for gender. And this one was also read on the 5th of October by the Legal and Parliamentary Committee Affairs. And the bill number 8, as we're winding up with till bill 10, the bill number 8 is the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, which is a Special Provisions Bill 2021. This particular bill seeks to facilitate the implementation of the East African Crude Oil Pipeline project in Uganda, and to implement the obligations of Uganda under the Intergovernment Agreement and the Host Government Agreement, and for related matters. And this one will actually be out. This was actually first read on 5th October 2021 by the Environment and Natural Resources Committee. And last but not least from the bill structure is the Public Finance Management Amendment Bill. That is bill number 9 among the bills that were actually yet to be enacted, that were enacted by the 11th Parliament. The bill seeks to amend the Public Finance Management Act 2015 to enable the National Oil Company to retain proceeds from the sale of petroleum arising from the state. Yes, arising from the state participating interests. This is this bill concerning the Public Finance Management Bill. This one was actually presented by the Finance Planning and Economic Development Committee on the 5th of October 2021. And then lastly, one of, if I could definitely say, the bill that has actually recently been enacted for enactment, which has actually been brought to Parliament for enactment, for review before it actually becomes a law or to be passed by the law, is the Income Tax Amendment Bill. This is the Income Tax Amendment number 2 Bill 2021. The bill seeks to amend the Income Tax Act Cap 340 to provide for windfall tax and limitation of deductions on petroleum operations. And this was actually presented before Parliament on the 19th of October 2021 by the Finance Planning and Economic Development Committee. So those are the 10 bills that have so far been presented before the 11th Parliament, awaiting for enactment. The review, they had their first bills, their first reading. The first 5 had their first reading on the 29th of September, the first 6. Then the other 3 on 5th October. Then the last one was actually presented before Parliament on the 19th of October this very year. Away from that, that was just a simple breather of what we have for you here, because what we do is bringing you all the latest from the world of business. Let's talk IFRIS now. If you're to look at IFRIS, IFRIS is the electronic physical receipting and invoicing system, which was introduced by the Uganda Revenue Authority, the tax body, the body that is in charge of collection of taxes. This one are the tax collectors. You've heard of that. So it being the tax collectors, so they are in charge of any activity that comes in place. The electronic physical receipting and invoicing system was introduced in late December 2020, and it actually got to the public in as early as 1st January this very year, 2021, is when the public started to use it. And I must say, I've actually worked for a company that has once used this situation. So I am one of the people who have actually got to know of IFRIS. Let's try to break this IFRIS down first of all. IFRIS is an automated compliance system that was introduced by URA as part of its domestic revenue mobilization strategy, which is intended to manage the issuance and centralized tracking of all invoices and receipts by specified taxpayers in Uganda. So to break this down, this is actually intended to manage the issuers and tracking the issuers of receipts and invoices electronically. And in this way, it is going to help the tax collectors, URA, to track down every product that is either untaxed, and also to actually track down all those products that are not supposed to be on the market. I guess this was actually brought in place because we are in a digital era right at this moment where we are trying to look at a situation where we can tap into the digital space. And tapping into the digital space means, just like you could see countries like Kenya, by the way, if I'm to give a reference, are already using an electronic way of collecting taxes. So with the IFRIS, it is actually looking more centered on, let's say, retailers, supermarkets, and these various suppliers or local producers, as well as the other producers. Because once the IFRIS, because what I know how this IFRIS works, if I can actually take you through a little bit of the step, is when you go to the IFRIS or the URA portal and you're going to register for a product, you have to first log in with a login ID. You need your password with you. After that, you get a physical document validation. That is the FDN. And the FDN number always comes after. If you've seen one of those, if I had the picture of this e-receipting, I could actually show some of the viewers who haven't seen it. But it's it actually comes with a URA logo on it. It is more of an electronic way. It is just like when it is an online way of actually paying your taxes, and it's actually sent electronically. That's why you see the IFRIS there, electronic, and it's you can print it out if you want to keep record, but you can actually still keep it on your phone documents. So it is a documentation that is actually set with the URA logo showing your TIN number, and in this particular one here with the IFRIS, the only challenge where most of the retailers or supermarket owners actually are calling out to URA is that it may be problematic for customers to actually have TIN numbers, according to some of the retailers. Because I've had some conversations with, quite interesting conversations with supermarket owners giving me their opinions from their view of e-receipting. Away from the fact that some of them claim it is going to be exploitation of that, but URA is actually saying it is a safe way and an effective matter to help out in curbing this issue of people actually doing what? Of actually people trying to shun away from paying taxes, more so the supermarkets. But some of the supermarket attendants have actually, non-attendants by the way, because an attendant is the worker, the supermarket owners I've got to talk to, have actually said there are some scenarios where a customer who comes to buy is supposed to have a TIN number, because this is where we're actually heading to, where every person will actually get a TIN number, is supposed to have one. You ought to have the TIN number. And it becomes hard for someone to present a TIN number when they just want to buy one product from a supermarket. Let's say a soda. And the reason as why they were actually telling is every time, because supermarkets have always got a backroom office. Remember, you have a place of a point of sale. The point of sale always comes with a computer system, which helps you in the entry of your products, giving out change and what. But there is always the backroom office where you input the stock that you have. So every time someone comes in the shop or in your supermarket, you will have to go and re-enter the product they have brought so that the URA tracker sees the product that the supplier has actually bought. And then the other interesting part is what the supermarket owners want is URA to introduce a system because URA wants to also have a system inbuilt in the point of sale so that every product that comes out, every sale you make, every item a consumer buys comes out already taxed. So it the receipt gets out or the invoice is out with the value-added tax already chopped off, with the other various taxes already chopped off from what the customer has to buy. So this actually puts the burden onto the supermarket owner or the retailer, because this time around you're clearing all the taxes for the client and the client is only going to pay the money. And I was mentioning that I've seen some of the shops, I've actually seen some of the suppliers who have been supplying even bakery, some local suppliers have actually been supplying to supermarkets and various retail shops who are actually already using this e-invoicing, which is actually helpful in a way that it can actually help the retailer. A producer can actually pay off all the taxes, but then he will have to increase the rate at which he's giving you the product. So when you look at this, it is actually a burden to anyone. It doesn't look like a burden, but it's a way of seeing that no tax is, people do not run away from paying these taxes. Because taxes are known to be exempted. The Uganda Revenue Authority furthermore deployed its staff in over 40 supermarkets, shopping centers and their branches to enforce the compliance of the digital tax stamps, the DTS, and the electronic or physical receipting and invoicing solutions, which is IFRIS countrywide. This was introduced in 2019. IFRIS applies to all value-added tax registered taxpayers. It was introduced in 2019, came to action in 2020, late 2020, but January 2021, it was now enforced to say that every retailer, more so supermarkets, are supposed to have it before them. Now, this IFRIS applies to all value-added tax, VAT rather, registered taxpayers who are therefore required to issue e-invoices or electronic receipts for all transactions in real time as stipulated under Section 73A of the TPCA and the Gazette General Notice number 595 of 2020. So now you can see URA is also implementing the enforcement of the DTS. They are now looking at going through the DTS. If you could see the DTS, now one would ask, what is the DTS? And now this is where I want to go. The digital tax stamps. If you've been buying some products, I guess people have actually been buying alcoholic products. Let me start from there because this has actually been so common with alcoholic products from the retail shops and supermarkets. Even those people are making, actually buying beverages from Chikubo. You can attest to this. There are these stamps that are on top. Looks like a sticker. I don't know whether you've been to, I remember those days when we used to go to Didi's World back in the day, which is currently the International University of East Africa, where you could actually wear something like a sticker which looks like a ribbon they tie to you, which shows that you've paid. And now this particular sticker, if you've seen some of the alcoholic drinks, I think it started with the alcoholic drinks, if I'm not mistaken. You would see on some of the bigger brands, not only the bigger brands by the way, on most of the products, alcoholic products and other products now, the DTS, which is the digital tax stamp, happens to be a simple sticker which has the UNBS mark, which shows that this product went through UNBS and also cleared all the taxes by URA, which shows that if someone has a product in the supermarket, this is what URA is now tracking at the moment. If someone has a product on shelf in a supermarket and it does not have the digital tax stamp, the DTS, then you will have you will actually give URA the place where you got this. You'll actually have to tell the Uganda Revenue Authority where you got this product, because for a product to be on shelf, it has to pass through the Uganda National Bureau of Standards to actually get through it to show that yes, this meets the quality standards of being on the world market, or on being on the various shelves. And the same way, the DTS also helps to track down people who do not pay the taxes, or the producers as well as the suppliers who are not paying the taxes. That is why URA is actually deploying staff in over 40 supermarkets, shopping centers, and various branches to check out whether these products have the digital tax stamp, and the supermarkets and the various shopping centers enforcing the IFRIS, or the use of the electronic physical receipting and invoicing solutions. So you should actually stay warned and know that URAs has actually so far set out to over 40, that is 40 various supermarkets and shopping centers. So one will still ask, why, of what importance does this mean to Uganda as a country? This is it. When last year the government adopted the application of IFRIS, supposed to be used by all businesses to transmit transaction details to URA in real time and issue electronic receipts and electronic invoices, which is in accordance with Section 73A of the Tax Procedure Act of 2014. Court ruled that Uganda Revenue Authority legally exercised discretionary powers when it issued a general notice requiring all value-added tax registered taxpayers to start issuing electronic invoices or electronic receipts, or use electronic devices connected to the tax body, centralized invoicing or receiving systems. Now, before we even head into a break, let me try to help retailers and supermarket owners. That you see, with the IFRIS here, it is actually going to help you in auditing. Once you're in a monthly audit, I've actually been through it, and I guess I realize it saves time somehow, because remember, every product that comes in is already audited by URA. URA will not need to make a monthly audit of coming through your documents to check out all your receipts, check out the invoices, the handwritten invoices. You may have even lost one. Remember, these handwritten invoices, some people have actually been giving cash sales instead. They give you a cash sale receipt. So with the auditing here, it becomes easier, because URA will actually be looking through on a daily from the transaction. So by the end of the month, it is just a compiling. It's just like when you're doing a daily registration. It is that simple. It is just a daily review. So by the end of the month, URA will just do a daily review of all your details with the electronic physical receipting and invoicing system, and it becomes easier for your auditing to check out. They will actually be checking out how you've been purchasing these products, how you got them, and what have you. So I guess it is giving room for you as well in terms of auditing and managing your business documentations. At the end of the day, even in terms of purchasing for new products. So I guess it is high time you could use this idea from URA. And away from that, I'll be right back with the same issue, and later on we shall be heading into the book review of Reason as the World Masterpiece by Hamish Chigundu. Keep it smart, means business.